green shirt. The green shirt. Your daughter has on. Good morning, everyone. Not sure if I need this microphone, but we're going to go with it. I'm confirming that we do have a quorum this morning. Yes, we do. Okay, I am calling the meeting officially to order at 10:06. Can I ask someone who is so minded to pray? Thank you, sir. Amen. Thank you very much. Can I just get a confirmation that everyone online can hear loud and clear and they're not having any issues? Yep, so confirmed. Welcome to everyone here this morning. Shareholders, proxies, any guests here and both here and online. I'd like to start by introducing the board of Spur Tree Spices again, just for formality. My name is Mitri Siaga, and I have the pleasure of being the chairman of this company. And I'm going to just go and ask each person to introduce themselves down the line. Albert?
Albert Daly, CEO and Director. Harry Tomlinson, Director. Stephen McGill,
Thank you very much. Is Tanya here? Okay. Tanya Waldron Gooden is our mentor. Our company secretary, please introduce yourself.
Keto, that's Silver representing Group Corporate Support.
Our management team this morning, Rani Badelou, Savion Burke, Sarita McDonald, Fiona Downs, Kemathia Pessoa, Venetia Thomas, and Rory Atkinson. Thanks to you all. Our auditors, Baker Tilly, you're in the house. Our attorneys at law, Simone Bowie Jones and Rachel Poole. Thank you very much. And from the Jamaica Stock Exchange, we have Kareem Pattison and Sashita Manning. Thank you both for being here. Our principal stockholders and stockbrokers and financial advisors, GK. I don't know if they're separately attending here, but they are our chief financial advisors and our co-broker, Sagicor Investments. I'd like the company secretary again just to confirm for the record that we do have a quorum.
There is a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Are there any apologies for absence? To you, sir? Any apologies? No apologies for absence. Let the record state. Okay, so we're acknowledging that Director Yana Samuels is not here as yet. We have not received an apology for her, so we do expect her to be here. Thought she was going to enter the door as I said that. Can it be stated how many proxies we have? No proxies received. The notice convening the meeting has been circulated to the shareholders. Ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, I will take the notice of the meeting as read. I'm going to ask you, CEO, to introduce the chairman and ask him to give the report. But since I'm up here already, we don't need to delay anybody with that. So I will read my the report, the annual report for the year in question. 2024 tested the resilience and the ingenuity of businesses in all aspects, and our team, I'm happy to say, rose to the challenge with determination and purpose. Through strategic investments, operational discipline, and our consistent commitment to innovation, we continue to create opportunities for growth and transformation, even in a demanding environment. Whilst global and regional pressures challenged industries across the board in 2024, Spur Tree Spices operated with an even more demanding environment. As an agro manufacturer, we face sector-specific vulnerabilities, including ongoing raw material shortages from 2022, supply chain disruptions, the direct impact of Hurricane Beryl, and then extended periods of heavy rainfall. These conditions placed additional strain on sourcing, production lines, and operational efficiencies, amplifying the challenges already present in the broader economy. Despite these extraordinary circumstances, Spur Tree Spices remained firmly focused on strengthening the foundation for long-term success. A key pillar of this strategy was the establishment of Spur Tree Farm, commencing early in the year with access to 240 acres of prime agricultural land. This proactive move to supplement the availability of production inputs became a strategic lifeline during a year of unprecedented agricultural disruption. Securing critical raw material supplies from the farm at a time when external sourcing was severely challenged allowed the company to fulfill most of its orders within a reasonable time frame. Without the farm maintaining consistent production and meeting growing markets, demand would have been significantly compromised. Alongside strengthening our supply chain, we advanced our brand revitalization initiatives, refreshing our look and feel to better resonate with both existing and new customers. We expanded our product portfolio, introducing new innovative offerings aligned with evolving customer preferences, whilst maintaining our commitment to quality and authenticity. With the introduction of new and repackaged products, we continue to expand our reach, bringing authentic Caribbean flavors to a growing consumer base. The overwhelming positive response to these initiatives reaffirms our belief in the power of strong branding and product differentiation as key drivers of our success. We expanded our production capacity and enhanced operational efficiency through targeted upgrades. New production spaces were added to the facility, introduction of new items, key processing lines were upgraded, resulting in greater flexibility, faster turnaround times, and improved cost efficiencies. These improvements have positioned Spur Tree Spices to meet increasing market demand while strengthening the company's operational resilience. These strategic moves position Spur Tree Spices not only to overcome the challenges of 2024, but to seize new opportunities and deliver sustainable value to all our stakeholders in years to come. Throughout 2024, Spur Tree Spices operated in one of the most challenging environments in recent memory. Yet through agility, creativity, and innovation, and disciplined execution, We not only met these challenges head on, but turned them into opportunities to strengthen our business and deliver improved financial results on an ongoing basis. Revenue grew by 7% to $1.564 billion, fueled by consistent. Yeah, I think that deserves a clap. I remember when we reached $1 billion, Mohan, in his usual style, gave us tears. I think for 1.5 you should cry again. One. When we reached the 2, okay, yeah. We know, and we get it. It is with love that we say these things. Revenue grew, even though several critical inputs more than doubled in price across key categories, we implemented strong cost management initiatives, resulting in only a modest 1% decline in gross profit margin. This remarkable achievement is a clear reflection of the work done to drive company-wide operational efficiencies. Importantly, our focus on efficiency extended beyond production. Administrative expenses declined by 2.17%, despite processing mandated increases in minimum wage and salary adjustments for other staff members. Net profit attributable to shareholders grew by 31.2% to $105 million. The result of the successful implementation of the broad set of initiatives highlighted above, earnings per share increased from 4.79% to 6.29 cents, demonstrating our ongoing commitment to delivering consistent value to our shareholders through operational excellence. Spur Tree Spices is poised for an exciting future, driven by strategic investments and a clear agenda for sustainable growth. We remain focused on expanding our footprint in key international markets, including the United States and Canada, and the United Kingdom, while continuing to strengthen our presence locally. A major priority is the ongoing expansion of the Spur Tree Farm, with the goal of meeting at least 60% of our key raw material needs, strengthening our supply chain reliability as we advance our growth agenda. At the same time, we are deepening our partnerships with local farmers who have been the backbone of our business since inception. In 2024, Spur Tree Spices continued to purchase hundreds of thousands of pounds of fresh produce, including scallion, onions, pimento, peppers, and thyme from our farming partners. They rely on Spur Tree because of our unwavering commitment to consistent supporting their business, backed by our long-standing promise to keeping farmers farming. We're especially proud of the continued support provided to our onion farmers in St. Thomas and the surrounding parishes, offering a reliable market for their crops, for which oftentimes there is no alternative markets. Innovation continues to be a key and critical driver throughout all our business segments at Spur Tree. We remain focused on implementing a sustainable growth agenda built on creativity and innovation, which are central to deliver value to our customers. We are extremely excited about our innovation calendar, with several innovative and impactful new products set to launch in 2025, further strengthening Spur Tree Spices' position in the food manufacturing space. Our mission remains to anticipate and fulfill customer needs with authentic, high-quality offerings. We believe these new products will have a revolutionary impact on the food industry, and we are eager to bring them to market in 2025. In late 2024, we launched a Spur Tree Spices storefront on Amazon.com, marking a major milestone in our digital expansion strategy. Yeah, I think that's a big deal. Into 2025 and beyond. We are committed to growing our e-commerce presence aggressively, making our authentic Caribbean products more accessible to customers around the world. Our focus on product innovation, portfolio diversification, and expanding our digital footprint, including partnerships with major platforms like Amazon.com and Walmart.com, positions Spur to better meet the evolving needs of a growing global customer base and drive sustained revenues in new markets. As we embrace new opportunities, we do so with a clear mission to elevate Spur Spices into a globally recognized food brand, staying true to our Jamaican roots and maintaining our unwavering commitment to quality and innovation. With a solid foundation, a visionary team, and an unwavering commitment to excellence, Spur Spices is poised for an exciting future. I extend my gratitude to you, our shareholders, our employees, our partners, and most of all to our customers for their unwavering support, for their trust. Together, we look forward to a future that's filled with success and exceptional returns for you. Thank you very much. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our CEO and ask him to give the management's discussion and analysis for 2024.
Thank you very much, Chair. And good morning, everybody. After the chairman's report, I don't know that the presentation of a management analysis is necessary. But since it's an agenda item, I think we'll need to get through it. We're trying to get the presentation. I have a presentation, so the team is working to get it displayed on the screen.
Albert could just recognize that.
Okay, good. We want to recognize the presence of Director Yana Samuels. She's right there, that beautiful young lady there. We had mentioned that she's possibly on her way, and she's here now. So our management discussion, as I said, will be an analysis, will be through a presentation. I want to talk about this from the standpoint of cultivating growth through building resilience and renovation and innovation. The chairman's report would have touched on a lot of the salient points that is important for us to cover. Just some of the definition that we have there in terms of building resilience and what our own interpretation of that is: navigating challenges with foresight and adaptability. About safeguarding revenue and future growth through proactive action, turning obstacles into opportunities, and shaping those opportunities into strategies that create sustainable long-term value for all stakeholders. 2024 started with some significant challenges. And you would have remembered that towards the end of 2023, we had significantly bad weather. We came out of a drought and then went into excessive rainfall. And that is not good for our business, especially inputs that is dependent on good environmental conditions. So that severely impacted crop yields and reduced the availability of key inputs such as pepper, scallions, all the fresh raw material that we use. Then by mid-June, when the industry was just recovering, the agricultural sector was recovering, then we had Hurricane Beryl. And we all went through that, so don't need to expand very much on that. But one of the greatest impact on our business, because from the hurricane, because we had taken some proactive action, as the chairman mentioned, concerning the introduction of the Spur Tree Farm, was on our subsidiaries that are very reliant on Aki, because we are very heavily invested in Aki production. What happened after Hurricane Beryl is that we have a prolonged rainfall. And I because we are in farming and also the Aki business, we're tracking the rainfall every day, because it was that important to us. And I can tell you that heavy rains didn't stop from June until mid-December. So we had to, maneuver that right through. Aki availability, we were severely impacted. Just at the time when the hurricane came, we're beginning to realize what we thought was going to be a significant Aki crop. And that was devastated, and there was no Aki for the rest of the year. What did we do in terms of the action? We established the Spur Tree Farm. My executive director and I had to come up with a solution and to say, listen, how are we going to deal with raw material? Because we're literally out of raw materials. Literally, when I say no raw material to produce, having orders that you just couldn't do. And so we scoped the entire island and found a pepper farmer who was willing to divest his interests. Came to the board, and we had the total support of the board, and they approved the investment in the farm. We have a very proactive board, and then that helped us tremendously, and we got into farming. We installed new, and one of the things that we are trying to point out here is that even though we're facing harsh and difficult conditions, what we're doing internally with the direction of the board is to make sure that we're not just trying to find ways to overcome the challenges that we face, but we are also building capacity, doing all the work necessary to ensure that once conditions got more favorable, then we would be in a much better position. So we went and we did significant work in terms of building capacity. And right now, in terms of our production capacity, during that period, our production capacity, I would think, more than doubled. Right? We changed out all our kettles. We previously had like 200-gallon kettles. Now we're having 400-gallon kettles and more. And we added more to it too. So we have significantly improved capacity right throughout the business. We also established new lines for new products. So we're doing a lot of significantly important work. And in the subsidiaries, we also expanded capacity in our subsidiaries. And in both subsidiaries, we add additional production lines. So we're working very, very ardently and building out capacity in the business. We also use the opportunity to streamline our production processes to eliminate bottlenecks and really to strengthen our cost management efficiencies. And the chairman's report would have alluded to some of that in terms of some of the cost advantages that we gain through these various initiatives. Innovation. We went back to the drawing board. We assessed the market, and we also take a look at our product line, look at that in relation to changing customer needs, and went to the innovation table. one of our main goal was to continue to diversify our brand offering through innovative ideas. So we wanted to strengthen our position as a Jamaican food company that delivers food solution by meeting the evolving needs of our customers, ensuring what we call long-term growth and value. The pillars on which Spur 3 is built on is really about authentic Jamaican flavor. We want everybody who picks up a Spur 3 product to know that this is the real thing. This is the real thing. And we pride ourselves on that. Quality. We want persons to know that what we offer is quality food solutions at all times. And part of our value proposition is to always have value for money. So we're not going to be the most expensive. We're probably not going to be the cheapest, but we are going to get value for money. So those are the pillars that drive our innovation, Colin. Leading with solution, driving solution-based offering that bring convenience to home cooks and food service. So what one our driving philosophy is also convenient. If you look at Spur 3 offering, you will know that the products that we offer are easy to use, and that's a convenient element of it. If you know, Spur 3 was built on this all-in-one seasoning, right? And we used to normally say just add meat. That was one of our tagline, but with a lot of vegetarian now we just say add anything, right? Anything. So very convenient, and you'll see that as I go through this presentation. So we remain true to that basic philosophy, right? So I'll go to the next slide. So part of this, in terms of the innovation, that we launched a lot of new products and specific products to do two things. One is to expand our product range into, you know, our core philosophy of becoming a Jamaican, a wholesome Jamaican food brand. So we add a lot of products to that. And we're also looking, the second thing is that we are trying to diversify our product offering. We're very invested in seasoning and sauces. And you know the vulnerabilities that we have in terms of raw material supply. And while we were working assiduously with the farm and other creative ways to mitigate any negative impact from that, we also thought it's necessary as a business to diversify the offering to help to mitigate some of those vulnerabilities. So we came out with a whole dry product line. So that included fried chicken mix, festival mix, and dry spices. So, you know, there was a lot of thought that went into this whole diversification strategy. And also the second element to that was that we also refreshed the brand. You know, the look and the feel of the brand, in our estimation, needed an upgrade, and therefore we used the opportunity to do that. And I think it was in August of 2024 that we had a relaunch of the Spur 3 brand, and that was well received by our customers. I need a little help, it's not moving. Good, thank you. All right, so just some of the SKUs. We launched 38 new SKUs. So it was a sizable undertaking, right? So while we're facing challenges in our environment, we're working hard internally. Okay. So it is just new product offering. Let me just, so new product offering. So it is new product lines, the different lines that we offer, right? So fried chicken mix, festival mix, complete all-in-one dry seasoning. And I want to point this out again with our all-in-one dry seasoning. So normally when you deal with dry seasoning, your people will say, okay, you'll get some curry here, or you'll get some, whatever, meat seasoning or whatever. But we came to that with the same concept. We came to that market with the same concept that we had with the wet seasoning, that we are giving you all in one. So you don't have to buy 4 different bottles of different things to mix it to get a complete seasoning for whether it is chicken, whether it is, pork. And then we did something that was not really available on the market. We came out with very specific and diverse offering for different type of meat solutions. So like say, for instance, let me use like fish. So we understand that people use fish differently, right? They will do steamed fish, they'll do brown stew fish, and they'll do fried fish. So we answer their needs in that respect. So we're very, very specific to offer customers exactly what they wanted. So all in one, you don't have to use anything else but what is in that bottle to marinate your meat. And then we had specific products to meet specific needs. We also came out with a complete new line of barbecue sauces, which we didn't have before. And we came out with syrups, right? So a total of 38 new items. Yes, different sizes, product sizes.
As a vegetarian, but also individual. So as a stock taking unit, you can have smaller sizes. So with product diversified as well as SKU diversified with different sizes. And in case anybody online wanted me to endorse again, the curry seasoning is the best in the world, including for vegans.
All right, thank you, Director Samuels. Director Terry Long. I don't know what, it's that appearance by Yana there, just disrupt everything. All right. All right, so I'm just going to present here some of the items. So this is our fried chicken mix, which is first to market, I must point out. And what you have here, Jamaicans all over the world love fried chicken, right? Unless you're a vegetarian, you probably don't like fried chicken, but Jamaicans everywhere like fried chicken.
You still like it, you just
Don't eat it. All right. So what we have there is 2 sizes. One is the retail size, and that's what Director Terry Long was referring to. One is the retail size, and one is the food service size. Now, in that bag, you have everything to do your fried chicken. So we're not just, typically people give you, say, fried chicken batter. We give you complete fried chicken. All you need is the chicken mix. So you get the marinade to marinate your chicken, and then you have the seasoned butter. So, and I tell you something, a lot of videos, not from me, you don't need to take it from me, but we can share videos of customers who are just raving over this product, right? It rivaled the best fried chicken, I won't call any name.
They have mentioned it in the comments.
Right? It rivaled the best fried chicken that you have in Jamaica. Right? So we can get Spur fried chicken mix at home, do it, you and your family, enjoy it. All right, so we also have our festival mix, and I'll not apologize for saying this is the best festival mix that is on the market. It says Helsha style, but I think people at Helsha need to kind of come and find out about this one too. You might have some increased business there. And these are our dry seasoning lines. So we have oxtail, And as you know, with the oxtail, not all-in-one seasoning on the wet side, we were first to market, and our oxtail seasoning won the Observer Food Award for Best New Product. And, you know, these, so you're seeing a whole variety. I don't have time to go through everything there, but you're seeing a whole variety of new products there. And you will see the feel and the look of the brand is being presented there. And that's a part of what we worked on. That's a part of what we work on assiduously to get it right. And I was looking for Rory. Where's Rory? Oh, that's our internal chief design officer. And he is responsible for a lot of the graphics and the feel and the look that you, right? Rory, put up your hand, let everybody see you, man. Don't behave cool. All right, good. And obviously he works very closely with my general manager around here. So they work assiduously on this. Ronnie, put up your hand, let everybody know. All right, so these are just some, this is our barbecue that I refer to. We have 3 categories, which is our classic, our smoky, and our Korean barbecue. And I tell you something, they're just awesome. And we have a line of syrups that we came out with also. Well, we don't take any idea off the table, you know. We like to receive all ideas, right? And I like to say all ideas are welcome, right? So we'll make a note of spicy syrup. All right, good. All right, the farm. The farm became very central, a centerpiece to what we did in 2024. It was like a lifeline for us. And we went and we planted over 44 acres of pepper. I think we got well over 500,000 pounds of produce from the farm last year. And it gave us the opportunity to sustain our business in a very difficult time where raw material was just not available. But the farm will not just be something that answered the question or a challenge that we had in 2024, but moving forward is a strategic part of our business to provide raw material. One of our goals here is to make sure, and we have the capacity to do this, because one of Jamaica's problem is that we don't have enough production and storage facility, what we call conversion and storage facility for raw material, what we call vulnerable raw material. So we have significantly invested in that. We have taken more space. We have taken an additional 15,000 square foot of space. We have racked that out. We have gotten additional storage equipment. And a part of our goal from the farm is to get raw material that can be stored up to 2 years. So it removes that vulnerability and that risk around raw material. All right, so what was the outcome of all these strategies and actions that we took? Our revenue, as the chairman pointed out, went up to 1.56 billion, 7.5%. Our gross profit improved by 15%. Our operating profit by 22%. Our net profit by 21%. But more importantly, the profit attributable to shareholders increased by 31%. Our shareholders' equity increased by 10.5% to a total asset just over 10%. And our cash and cash equivalent went up by 116%. So in a challenging time where 2024 was one of the most difficult and challenging years that we face as a business, we're able to work smartly, to invest smartly, to ensure that we had improved results. We'll continue to build on the expansion of the farm from, I'm talking about our outlook now. We'll continue to build on the expansion of our farm as a strategic arm of the business. The business will continue to work assiduously to gain all efficiency, additional efficiencies, whether it is in costs or in the administrative structure. Innovation will continue to drive the brand and what we represent as a company. We are working on many new innovative ideas in terms of product, and those offerings will speak to them as they unfold. What we expect for this year, there are going to be some significantly game-changing products that are going to be coming to market. Can't say much about that, because, I don't know who, people, Spur is a company that is watched, It's watched. Yes, it's surveyed, because we are first to market with a lot of things, and people are looking at this. So the thing that we pride ourselves on is that while people look at us and try to emulate us, we are on to the next thing. And so our innovation initiative is always going to be at the center of who we are as a business. We are working on expanded market penetration and distribution arrangements. And one of the things that we are focusing heavily on is the food service element of our business. Right now, that is generating about 40% of our overall business. We see a lot of growth opportunity in food service. You see it both locally and internationally. In fact, if you ask us, Spur Spices started by focusing first on food service and then branch out into retail, right? And we think that there's far greater opportunity in food service now. And it's just also in line with just how customer behavior and customer trends are indicating. I see where more customers are eating out, right? So we are aligning ourselves with that need. So overall, I think that we had a very good year in the context of the challenges that we face, and also know that sets us up as a business. Let me just say this to you, shareholders. We are always concerned about the immediate results, right? The quarterly results. We always are concerned about the quarterly results. We want to provide the best quarterly result that we can. But we are more driven to build long-term sustainable value for shareholders. And I know that most of our shareholders have a long view for Spur, and we thank you for that, because this is what this company, and every day that the management team, the executive team comes to work, we are thinking about the future of this building and business and how do we build long-term sustainable value. And all the work that you see that was done in 2024, we are doing similar work in 2025, because we believe that this company has a tremendous future. We are confident that the brand is strong, that the fundamentals of the company, they are good, and that we all will reap success in the future. Thank you very much.
Yes, sure.
It
I'm not too much of a mic person, but I just want to add a little bit here to what our CEO said, Albert. And I just want to, I personally, as one of the founding members of this company, I want to thank Albert. I can't thank him enough. I thank him all the time. For a man who has lived and my passion. Albert, you have done a fantastic job, and you're still doing a fantastic job. And I know the quarterly where he talks about all the time. I know because we talk to each other every day, every minute, everything. I mean, we have our fights, we have the different views, and and Albert is able to we are able to work together and find the solutions. It has been a challenging year. It has been a challenging year, very challenging. I can tell you that. I mean, I've worked as hard now as I have ever worked. But also, too, I want to mention that one of the reasons why the year have been challenging is because we have to look at this. Jamaica has grown. The tourism industry have exploded. So every time a tourist comes here and they eat one more piece of jerk, it's one more piece of pepper that was not planned for. So that is where some of the shortages would have come to, because you had an expansion in the tourism industry. The demand came more, but the agriculture industry didn't live up to it. It couldn't right away take years for that to happen. So I just want to mention, I want to thank the chairman and Albert. Albert, thank you.
It's deserved. Thank you, Albert. And I just hope that everyone realizes the long-term nature of the strategic plan of Spur Tree Spices. This is a company that is not looking at its next round of results. It's a company that's looking to the future. 10 years, 20 years from now, when you or your children are sitting in this room as shareholders of this company, I want you to remember back to these times when the company made a dramatic shift in its strategic plans. The farm is a big deal, and I want everybody to understand that. This farm allows us, it allows us integration, seamless integration. It allows us to have control and domain over our own business. It doesn't allow, like our competitors who have to rely on others. We are taking matters into our own hands and taking our main raw material and having control of it ourselves. And I want to applaud the board and the management team, board for the vision and the management team for the implementation of this. It's a really big move, and I think we're going to see the results of it down the road in a real and meaningful way. With that said, I would like to invite Mrs. Malcolm Terrell from Baker Tilly to read the 2024 consolidated report.
Morning, everybody. Let me start by apologizing for the very long read that I'm about to do, and forgive me. All right. To the members of Spur Tree Spices Jamaica Limited. Report on the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Our opinion. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements and the standalone financial statement give a true and fair view of the consolidated financial position of Spur Tree Spices Jamaica Limited, the company, and its subsidiaries, together the group, and the standalone financial position of the company as at 31st of December 2024, and of their consolidated and standalone financial performance, and their consolidated and standalone cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS, and comply with the requirements of the Jamaica Companies Act. What we have audited. Spur Spices Jamaica Limited's consolidated and standalone financial statements comprise the consolidated statement of financial position as at the 31st of December 2024, the consolidated statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of cash flows for the year then ended, the company statement of financial position as at the 31st of December 2024, the company statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the company statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the company statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statement, which include a summary of material accounting policies. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with International Standards on Auditing, ISAs. Our responsibility under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial section of our report. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for opinion. Independence. We are independent of the group in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for the Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the ISPA Code. Other matter. The financial statements of Spur Spices Jamaica Limited for the year ended December 31st, 2023 were audited by another firm of auditors who expressed an unmodified opinion on those financial statements on May 17, 2024. Our audit approach. Audit scope. As part of designing our audit, we determined the materiality and assessed the risks of material misstatement in the consolidated and the standalone financial statements. In particular, we considered where management made subjective judgments. For example, in respect of significant accounting estimates that involve making assumptions and considering future events that are inherently uncertain. As in all of our audits, we also address the risk of management override of internal controls, including, among other matters, consideration of whether there was evidence of bias that represented a risk of material misstatements due to fraud. How we tailored our group audit scope. We tailored the scope of our audit in order to perform sufficient work to enable us to provide an opinion on the consolidated financial statements as a whole, taking into account the structure of the group, the accounting processes and controls, and the industry in which the group operates. Our 2024 audit was planned and executed having regard to the fact that the operations of the group remained largely unchanged from the prior year. The group's businesses are organized into two primary segments, being canned products and the spices and other operations. The entities that comprise the group maintain their own accounting records. In establishing the overall group audit strategy and plan, we determined the type of work that was needed to perform at the components by the group engagement team and component auditors. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements as a whole, and in forming our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. Key audit matter: accounting for business combinations, intangible assets group. Refer to note 2H and 7 to the consolidated and standalone financial statement for disclosures of related accounting policies and balances. The total carrying value of goodwill as at the 31st of December 2024 is 196 million. For 2023, it was 196 million also, representing 11.6%, 2023, 12.79% of the group's total asset. In accordance with ISA 36, impairment of assets, management performed an annual impairment assessment to determine whether the carrying value exceeds the recoverable amount of the cash generating unit, CGU, to which the goodwill is allocated and is therefore impaired at the reporting date. Goodwill relating to the recoverable amount of a CGU is calculated as the higher of the value in use and the fair value less the cost of disposal. Management determined the recoverable amount by reference to value in use, which is based on the discounted cash flow projections over which management makes significant judgment on key inputs. As a result of the assessment, management determined that there was no impairments as at the 31st of December 2024. We focused on this area as the annual impairment assessment requires management's judgment and estimation, particularly in relation to the estimation of future cash flows from the businesses, taking into consideration the key assumption being the revenue growth, capital expenditure, and discount rate in the group's impairment model. How our audit addressed the key audit matters. Our approach to addressing this matter involved the following procedures, among others: evaluated management's future cash flow forecasts and the process by which they were prepared, including testing the underlying calculations and comparing them to the latest financial forecast. Compared previous forecasts to actual results to assess the performance of the business and the accuracy of forecasting. Evaluated the revenue growth rate and discount rate against valuations of similar companies. Compare the key assumptions of revenue growth, terminal growth rate, EBITDA, margins, capital expenditure, and discount rate against external derived benchmark data. Evaluated the revenue growth and discount rate used in management's cash flow projections against valuations of similar companies. Tested the calculations for mathematical accuracy and assessed the sensitivity of the calculations by varying the key assumptions and adjustments within management's cash flow forecasts. The results of our procedures indicated that management's determination that goodwill was not impaired at the reporting date was not unreasonable. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the annual report, but does not include the consolidated and standalone financial statements and our auditor's report thereon, which is expected to be made available for us after the date of this auditor's report. Our opinion on the consolidated and standalone financial statement does not cover the other information, and we do not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available and, in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the consolidated and standalone financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Responsibility of management and those charged with governance for the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of the consolidated and standalone financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with the IFRS and with requirements of the Jamaica Companies Act, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of the consolidated and standalone financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the consolidated and standalone financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the group's and company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing, as applicable, matters relating to going concern, and using the going concern basis for accounting, unless management either intends to liquidate the company or the group or the company, or to cease operations, or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the group's and the company's financial reporting process. Auditor's responsibility for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the consolidated and standalone financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISAs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in the aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these consolidated and standalone financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ISAs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentation, or the override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purposes of exercising an opinion on the effectiveness of the group's and company's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists relating to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the group's or company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our audit report to to the related disclosures in the consolidated and standalone financial statements, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the group or company to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the consolidated standalone financial statements, consolidated and standalone financial statements represent the underlying transactions and event in the manner that achieves fair presentation. Obtain sufficient, appropriate audit evidence regarding the financial information of the entities or business activities within the group to express an opinion on the consolidated and standalone financial statements. We are responsible for the direction, supervision, and the performance of the group audit. We remain solely responsible for our audit opinion. We communicate with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identified during our audit. We also provide those charged with governance with a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate with them our relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence and, where applicable, related safeguards. From the matters communicated with those charged with governance, we determine those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements of the current period and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our audit report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matters, or when, in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequence of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefits of such communication. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. As required by the Jamaican Companies Act, we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been kept so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the accompanying consolidated and standalone financial statements are in agreement therewith and give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in the manner so required. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Roxanna Malcolm Tyrrell. Baker Tilly, Chartered Accountants, Kingston, Jamaica, 31st of March, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Malcolm Terrell. You weren't joking when you said it was long, but comprehensive. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is now open for shareholders' comments, questions, commendations, and suggestions. However, before we get into it, let me just try and set a few ground rules. Only shareholders can participate in this section. Each shareholder is being asked to address the meeting, that is addressing the meeting, is being asked to go to the microphone, to identify yourself, and keep your points succinct, please. Online, if you are online, please raise your hand. You will be identified by the persons manning the site, and we will take your questions. So, with that said, are there any questions or comments or commendations? Please. Is that microphone on? Yeah.
Nicola Borough, shareholder. A lot has happened for Spur during the last year. Challenges, production lines, new products, lots going on. And I must commend you for, if you want to say, maneuvering it all. Navigating, thank you. And I see some products up there that I'm not aware of, so I have to go look for them. Notwithstanding that, I know that your 6-month reports are out at the stock exchange, and to that I put my views. Your consolidated cash flow from the 30th of June 2025, you have an item, the principal paid for lease liability moved from 3.8 to 17.2. I know that there is a farm in the mix, but can you elaborate?
Go ahead. I mean, for 2025.
Let me see if I can find. It's under the consolidated cash flow.
We need to just take advice and counsel if we can comment on the financials that have been presented in this meeting.
So we can't ask anything about current status?
We are checking.
Excuse me, it's been done at all other AGMs that I am aware of.
Okay.
And we're half year through. Yes, granted you say look for the long term, but we're at a 6-month marker.
No, and I'm not saying no, I'm just, we're just checking. Can you just check for
I
me?
hear you, but I have
Please.
never heard it otherwise at another AGM, and I've
Okay.
been to a number.
I just want to err on the side of
Reasonable,
caution.
no problem.
What Simone said? Simone? Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So CEO Bailey will come and answer your question.
Thank you. Appreciated.
Okay, can you repeat the question for me, please?
Under your consult cash flow, there is an item, principal paid on lease liabilities. It moved from 3.8 to 17.2.
Okay, so...
That's a significant jump, so.
Right. So if you remember, I spoke to issues regarding new space
Right.
that we have taken on. So we have taken on significantly new space, and all of these are lease space, right? We were operating at about 35, and we have taken on. And I think that is also in the allocation of the lease expenses. So I don't have that specific data before me, but I know it's in relation to the additional lease space.
Okay.
So that's as general as I can answer that right now without being too specific.
So that would include the farm and the
Yeah.
additional space to hold your
Right,
product
so
for
and
2
the
years.
farm is also a lease space,
Yeah,
and
okay.
also we have building space.
Gotcha.
Right, so
Okay.
15,000.
right.
Yes.
So
To hold the product for 2 years, you mentioned. Yeah.
right, so and none of those, yes, it's around that. So while that's as general as I can answer that because I'm not looking at the specific data, right?
Okay. In your segment item,
Right.
your canned products seem to need a little bit of help, if I can put it that way.
Okay, so I alluded to that, and it's a continuation of a situation that we had from last year, and I can be very candid about what's happening there. Our subsidiaries, which are the companies that deal with the canned product, so mostly they're doing what we call canned ackee and canned kaladu. They are called ackee factory for a kind of reason, right? It's for a specific reason. And it is because they are set up primarily to produce ackee.
Mm-hmm.
Since the hurricane last year, we have not had any significant ackee crop. In fact, it has been absent. And so we have had a challenge with that. There's not much from our standpoint that we can do.
Yeah.
Right?
If it's not available,
If
it's
it is
just
not available, it's not available. We are hoping that going into the third and the fourth quarter, we are going to see an improvement in that
Okay.
situation, providing that the environment
Gotcha.
remains favorable.
Reasonable. Your segments are spices and canned. With
Yes.
your new product line, will we have a third segment?
It says spices and others, so it's going to be kind of, so the new products are going to be in that spice and other category.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. You've gone into the syrup market. I think that's a quite competitive market. Any particular reason why? Or,
Oh.
in my estimation, there seems to be a lot of producers of syrup.
Okay, so we're not in that line in a very big way, and it's not our intention to compete in a significant way in that market, but it is something that was being requested by our distribution, in our distribution channel. And as we expand our reach as far as the brand is concerned and the product range is concerned, that's something that we are just answering the call of our customers and our distributors.
Okay. My last question, I think. Your repairs and maintenance your maintenance fees. Maintenance went down, but repairs and maintenance went up. So I'm not sure what the distinction is.
Okay, so there's a little bit of reclassification, and the maintenance fees are now specifically relating to maintenance of building in terms of the part that is associated with lease.
Okay.
Right? While the repairs and maintenance has to do with equipment
Then-
and all other building associated
Okay.
repair and maintenance costs.
And with the new production lines.
With the new
that's
production
critical.
costs, you know,
Thank
we
you
have
very much.
bigger here.
Okay.
Thank you. I didn't get your name.
Nicola Borough.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted that for the record.
Good morning, Mr. CEO. Wesley Thomas, shareholder. Just two questions I want to ask. When was the relaunching of the brand? You had mentioned that you relaunched the brand again. When was that?
It was June of 2024. We had a relaunch event in
Okay.
June of 2024.
Okay. Prior to that,
All right.
what was your storage capacity up to that point before you got to this 15,000 storage? I just want to know.
Okay, so
Yeah, because I heard that you ran out of materials along the line prior to the hurricane. So
Well-
obviously you didn't foresee what was going on until the hurricane. Yes? I look at it that way.
okay, let me answer that. It's a little bit different, so I'm going to put it in perspective, right? We have always had storage, right? In fact, as I alluded to, this challenge didn't start last year when the hurricane came.
Okay.
We're having the challenge in terms of shortage in supply of raw material from 2023. Because in my presentation, I stated that there was a significant drought, and then that was followed by excessive rainfall, right? So that decimated the crops.
Right.
It was during that time we had to use up most of our storage. So from a strategic standpoint and risk mitigation standpoint, we have always maintained adequate, what we consider to be adequate storage, but not for this prolonged situation. So what happened is that during that period of 2023, when we hardly got in any raw materials, we're really surviving from our storage. So when we arrived at the doorstep of 2024, we came upon a crisis, which is why we entered into the farming. We said, listen, we cannot depend on other persons investing to meet our needs as our business continued to grow and the demand for these products increased. So what we decided was to invest in the farming. What happened during that year is that it was a wise strategic decision for us to go, because then the hurricane came, and it was the farm that kept the business
got it.
afloat.
I see.
Right?
I see.
And the third point to that I want to mention now, that we have taken additional space. It's not just new space for this, because we had about 10,000 square feet storage space. So we have taken an additional 15,000 square foot of space for additional storage, because we want to increase that storage capacity to about 2 years worth of raw material.
Okay, thank you. One last question. I'm a Mandeville shareholder, and I've noticed that the shelving space in the supermarkets in Mandeville has remained the same for Spur Tree Spices. There hasn't been any aggression to expand. What is going on there?
Well, I mean, I welcome every feedback in terms of our retail space.
Yeah, still the same.
That's something that we will continue to work with our local distributor. And the truth is that we will be coming into those space more frequently in the coming months, because we're going to be having a lot of in-store demonstration and promotion, especially along the line of the new products that we believe that will give a lot of value to the business and to our customers. So, we're going to have a stronger presence in there, working with the distributor to try and have more placement done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Are there any questions online? Yeah, go ahead and read them out, please.
That's the apple.
Okay. Are you ready for me?
Yes,
Good
please.
morning. I am Laura Nachetta, shareholder. At this stage, I know the company is going through a bit of challenges. Are you sure you'll be able to, for the future, you'll be able to continue on as Spur Tree, as the company? Because I'm almost sure I saw something very definitive in some paper or somewhere that the company was going to become like a subsidiary or something of GK. Is that? I don't know too sure.
Don't call it. Don't call it.
Anyway.
Do you want me to address that?
Yes.
Because it's an important. It's an important point, right? So I want to categorically state for the record, and in addressing your question, that there's nothing on the table, nothing that's been discussed about becoming a subsidiary
No
of GK.
negotiations. No
Right?
negotiations.
So what has happened? What has happened? Let me just state this.
Okay.
What has happened is that GK has looked on the company, and by virtue of their understanding of the industry, understanding of the business, and they have bought shares to the extent of 20% of the available shares in the business. So it's a good signal from a strong company in terms of the faith that they have in this business. So that's all that has happened.
Okay, okay.
If you slip, you slide, you know.
So 20% is not 51, and they have, at the time when they did that, they also publish, as is required, a statement to say at this time they have no intent of increasing beyond the
Okay. At this time.
Well, I
okay.
mean, persons they can only speak to their intention in terms of the available information. But, so they have they are just an associated company. They have an associated status with Spur Tree. So it's no, Spur Tree remain an independent company pursuing a clear strategy to be a dominant player in the food industry, in the Jamaican food industry space.
Okay,
right.
thank you.
And
Thank
Mr. Bailey, if
you.
I can just, just reiterate exactly what you've said. As the managing director of GK Investments, there's
Yeah.
there is no intention to increase the stake beyond that 20% stake that we currently hold. What GK Investments does, it's an investment holding company. It analyzes different investment opportunities right across the market, and where we see value in good long-term investments, we're not afraid to make those investments. Spur Spices is one such investment.
Oh, so that was your question. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Natasha, GG. Are there plans to increase capital? Are there plans to raise additional capital?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. That's not something that is before the board at this point in time. But we cannot predict, and it's something we understand that there are changes in terms of the available capital and the market. And if and at such a time that the board determines that that is necessary, then we'll definitely inform our shareholders of that. But nothing is on the table at this time.
Okay. Can we expect new products? You talk about the syrup. Is that a new product? Okay. Do you intend to maintain?
Right, so in the presentation that I did, we were specific in outlining that we added last year for 2024, 38 new SKUs. And this year we are working on a number of different options that we'll add before the end of the year, end of 2025.
Okay. Do you have any new partnerships or distribution deals locally or internationally?
Right, so we have established, and I can refer to it because it was referred to earlier. So in our 2025 June report, we would have alluded to new distribution arrangements that are now in place, and the whole initiative around expanding our distribution, what would I call it? Channels, right, our network. So that is something that we are consistently working on, and that's bearing some fruit, right? So that is specifically addressed in the June quarter report.
So that will increase profits.
We are always working to increase profit, and it's our expectation that profit will increase as a lot of these initiatives are implemented, and we get the kind of returns that we expect from them.
And also bring what the price of the stock up.
The price of the stock, I want to say, okay, let me just...
All right, I'll leave it to answer that.
Yes, let me just say in terms of the price of the stock, there are so many things that go into that, and a lot of things are out of our control. What I can say today is that the numbers that we presented for 2024, in all of the key numbers, there's improvement. We believe that the company remains fundamentally strong, and we are working assiduously to strengthen the existing position. The results, we believe, will improve as we go along. And I know that it has come out, so let me just address it. There were challenges in our and I think it was referred to in terms of the results for up to June, but there were some challenges in the environment in our largest market, right? And we know what it is. We are almost a 90% export company, right? And our biggest market is the US, right? And there were some challenges there. There were some challenges there, but we have resolved those challenges to a large extent within our distribution network. So we expect that things will settle down because there was some uncertainty created. So as we move forward into the remaining quarter of the year, we expect that we'll see the benefits of resolving some of those issues surrounding that.
Can I go ahead? Okay.
Please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Anella McFarlane. I'm a shareholder. I must commend you on the strategies that I see that you have taken over the past year and so to keep the company viable and operational and profitable. I noticed that you did a lease for a farm, the Spur farm, and you mentioned that you had over 44 acres in peppers, and I see in the booklet that enhanced your production because you could come up with 60% of your raw material. Are you looking also at see if you can, either through your subsidiaries or yourself, get some ackee trees going?
Okay, very good question. Thank you for that. The science of growing ackee is a challenging one, right?
3 to 5.
We have been, as a country, trying to deal with what we call ackee orchard for some time now. And we have not been successful at it, but it's something that is consistently and constantly being explored. We also have planted, I think in 2023, we planted, I think probably well over 2,000 trees. Unfortunately, the drought was a challenge for that, and not a lot of those trees survived, right? I would think probably less than 500 of those survive. And that's what I'm saying then in terms of the environment. But it's something that we are consistently investigating and seeing how we can assist this process in terms of, because there's significant demand in there, but we're just not getting the product. The other thing that we're seeing in the environment as far as the ackee is concerned is whenever there's a major event like a hurricane, the trees kind of come under stress, right? It has this shock effect on the trees. So they take a little time to recover and begin to produce at the level that they were producing. And that's a part of the challenge that we saw in 2025. What we're seeing now is that the indicators are there that the trees are recovering. And so we expect that, we're going to see some better output from that. But it's something that we are constantly looking at. As I said, we planted some trees in 2023. We're going to look at that again to see if we can expand that and hope that the conditions are favorable and we can have a better result.
You said we. You mean you as the company or the subsidiaries?
Well, when I speak of us, including the subsidiaries.
Okay.
Yes.
Because over the long term, it should be profitable to you to have your own trees.
Yes, and that is well taken.
Okay. Excuse me. Yes.
But we also are looking for opportunities to work with third-party investors also who are willing and able to plant. So if we have shareholders here who have land and want to invest in this, we are open to that also.
That's something that we have struggled with for years, because we need it and persons don't really want to take it on. But look at what we have done with, say, oranges now. And then we have somebody who is almost like, should I say, taking over the market with oranges, citrus products.
Yes.
Because everybody sat back.
But it's needed. I will
Disease came,
conclude that
and we didn't work on it
it
enough.
is needed, and it's something that has to be done, not just on an individual company scale, but it has to be done from the macro level, governmental level also. And I know that there's a lot of discussions and what I would call, research into that. And I'm hearing positive, I'm seeing some positive signs that as a country we'll take that on in a more collective manner.
Okay. If we really mean to make the money from Aki,
Yes,
we can do it.
I agree.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Let's take the questions from online, please, and then we'll come back.
Oh, go ahead.
So we're going to take a few questions from our online shareholders.
And then we have 1, 2 more. Anybody else? 3 more. Okay? After food and kitchen.
Good morning, everyone. Asking a question on behalf of Percival Arthurs. He had 4 questions, 2 of which have been addressed already, so I'll just read the other 2, or ask the other 2. Can you expound on the white labeling deal mentioned in the latest quarterly report?
Okay, so as a business, one of the objectives of expanding our production capacity is not just to produce items under the Spur brand, but it's for other persons who don't have the capacity to produce but have labels or have market that, for items that they, we have been doing this ever since inception. It's not something new. But what we alluded to was a new arrangement, an expanded arrangement to produce for another customer under their label. So we do that. And it's something that as a business, we're promoting that if you have a business, if you have a brand, and you don't have somebody to produce it, and you need quality Jamaican products within the capacity of what we do, we are open for business.
The second question, when can shareholders expect dividends?
That's a matter for the board to look at, and I think the board will make a determination on dividend at the appropriate time, right? At the appropriate time.
So those were the questions that were online. Okay, sir, you're next.
Back to the Aki.
Yes, sir. Can you just give us your name, please?
Oh, McFarlane.
Mr. McFarlane.
Yes, Lincoln McFarlane. Where you are attempting to grow the Aki, you see? Is this a normal Aki area?
Yes, sir. It's in St. Thomas, one of the most.
Because it is strange what you have said, that after the hurricane, the Akis take a long time to recover, because that is not our experience.
Where are you seeing?
No, well, even right around Kingston, Akis recover almost immediately. There are areas of Kingston, Upper Kingston, like St. Andrew, where Akis don't do well. But Lower Kingston, the Akis tend to come back fast.
Okay, so what I can say to you is that both Aki factory is what you call, are located in what you will describe as the biggest Aki belt in Jamaica, which is St. Thomas, right? And if you survey all the persons who are involved in ackee in St. Thomas since the hurricane last year, you would have seen, or you'll get the feedback that the availability of ackee, and it's not something that is new to persons who have been involved in the ackee. It's a natural thing that the trees come under significant stress by certain external conditions. So in terms of, you could be, if you're looking at a one tree here or a couple trees there, you might see that. But in terms of an industry that you're talking about, the demand being thousands of pounds, and when you have, if it produced 10 or 20%, you might see that. But that in terms of the required demand, it's a total shortage, it's a massive drop-off, and that's what we are talking about. That's the experience, and you can poll all the ackee producers, and I tell you something, a number of ackee companies, producing companies, since the beginning of this year, have closed their door because they could not remain open based on the operating costs of carrying their business without ackee. Yes, and I personally know that, right? And producing what they call the filler items was not sustainable. So I have known persons who we are close with, who we talk with, who say, listen, I just can't open, I'm waiting for the next crop, and then I'll reopen my factory. So they are not operating. So it's a reality. So you might see a couple of trees here and there, but from an industrial-wide standpoint and a volume requirement standpoint, that's the reality.
Yes. Can I ask a question, though? In St. Thomas, the areas that seem to have this problem, you wish to, you can...
It is not
name
just
them?
St. Thomas. Some of the factories that I'm mentioning, they are located in Clarendon. I know 2 factories in Clarendon that have actually not been operating. So it's not a St. Thomas problem. Well, I was just telling you that St. Thomas was considered the ackee belt of Jamaica, the Mecca of ackee in Jamaica. So I just referenced that from that standpoint. But it's an island-wide issue.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
No, last 2 questions. Make it 3.
Pleasant good morning, Lansel Bloomfield. Without laboring the ackee because we don't have no breadfruit this morning, but we have to keep on the subject, if you don't mind. Fellow shareholder alluded to something which I will go to at the last of my question. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, the news media reported recently that there is a shortage of ackee in the North America and European markets. How will you be able to take hold of these opportunities, seeing that you have about 6 competitors in this area?
Okay, so I know your address is to the chairman, but I don't know if the chairman will defer to me.
Hey, go ahead, Mr. CEO. Yep.
Yes. As I said to you, there's a shortage on the market because there's no raw material that is available and ackee is not being produced at the level that is required. It's a situation that needs to be seriously looked into, and we need investment in terms of scientifically determining how to develop ackee orchard in a way that it produces. I will say this to you. I've seen persons, and I have personal experience with this. I've seen persons plant ackee trees, and I've seen the trees got big, but they just don't produce. Right? So there is a science that is there. I know of a particular company that it has a test plot right now and trying to figure that out. We'll work with them, we'll look at that, and You know, it's something that's been tested. It's something, I know lands are being made available to, because from a Jamaica standpoint, it is a situation that needs to be resolved, right? But you're gonna have to find the right way to do it. So yes, I admit there's a demand, there's an unfulfilled demand on the international market, but we have to get the raw material to produce it.
All right, so I understand that. Next question. In relation to what my fellow shareholder spoke to the citrus, I know there is a technique. And so hence this question. In respect of R&D, research and development, do you have enough acreage in Aki? And have you been able to deploy in-graft material from already mature bearing plants to these trees, which was used in the citrus industry? And that is how the citrus industry was able to increase the acreage, because Aki, like citrus, takes about 6 years to produce fruits.
No. So from the information I have, I think it's about 3 years, right? Because we have planted some and we have seen where some are producing, as I alluded to. But to the specific question, what we need is a broader framework as a country, right? We are an investor in Aki, but it is not the individual investor that is going to make. You can do so much from that standpoint, but you need a broader, more macro plan to deal with the situation of the increased demand for Aki. And I think that is something that we'll deal with from at a stakeholder level and a governmental level. That has to be addressed.
All right, my one last question here. Yes. Is there a reason why brine is used in your canned products? And are there any other way to can and preserve these products?
I'll tell you that is the tested and the approved way of dealing with Aki. Aki being exported is governed, especially to the United States, is governed by the FDA. And they are very specific in terms of the process that must be engaged. There's an approved process, and that includes the brine, the cooking method, just everything. They come to us at periodic basis to investigate and to ensure that we are complying with that requirement. There are a number of different requirements, and I won't go into all of them, but we have to comply, every single cook, every single batch, with those, and we have to keep our records to ensure that when we are audited by the FDA, we are in compliance. So that is the approved method for Aki that is exported.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Two other questions. Gentlemen, in the hat, and then you, sir. Hold on 1 second. You was before you, and then. Just stand up like that.
All right. Good day. Good day. Oden Brown here,
Good
shareholder.
morning, Steve.
Good morning. The first thing is, Oden Brown here, a shareholder. Yeah, man. All right. So the first thing actually is regarding the tariffs that the U.S. imposed on Jamaica. I'm wondering what impact would that be having on the company going forward? And is there anything that we have in place to kind of mitigate that impact?
Okay. So as you know, Jamaica, there was a 10% tariff that was imposed on goods coming from Jamaica. That kind of created some amount of uncertainty through the various channels. Especially our first line of contact is our distributors, right? So there was some uncertainty as to how to deal with it, what is going to happen. They had to be speaking with their customers, seeing how their customers, especially the large customers, how are they going to deal with it, how is this going to be passed on to the customers, to the end users. One of the things that we saw is that persons were very, very careful that they don't want to pass on price increase to end users. That was right there off the bat. How is that going to be absorbed along the chain? So first is, okay, we need to hold off a little bit, see what happens, how we're going to deal with this. Let's deal with this issue. So that did impact our performance as posted for the second quarter. The second thing is that, and we alluded to it in our report, that there's a big chain that we have a strong presence in the United States. And I think most of the suppliers to that chain had agreed to pass on only 5% of the 10% tariff. And that's kind of, we had to figure out with our distributor how that could be dealt with. So we have to deal with that. But I think that unless there is any, what I call new tariff percentages that are imposed on Jamaica, I think by and large, I think we have that the issues are now settled. So we are focused on how to drive our business moving forward. So I think the tariff discussion, you know, that took place earlier in the year. As I said, there was some sort of hole. So, you know, unless there are some new announcements regarding Jamaica and the impact on Jamaica, we think that most of the issues have been settled, and we are focused on, you know, just dealing with how best to grow our sales in that market. We would have alluded to a new distribution channel that we're set up, that we're just concluded in the Midwest. We are expanding our distribution in the southern region. So we are working hard to continue to grow our business in the States because it's still by far our most profitable market. So we are just hoping that there are no new tariffs for Jamaica. And there's no indication right now. So we're just going to use the data that we have and push forward.
Okay, all right. Just two things, not questions now. Yes. The first thing is, I have quite a few friends like further down in the Caribbean, so like St. Lucia, Dominica, etc. And them love the flavor of Jamaica. And it's really difficult for them to get, you know, when I boast to them about Spur tree spices and things, you know, it's difficult for them to get such products down that side. So it'd be nice if it's possible, we could make our products available, you know, further in the Caribbean, further down south in the Caribbean. You know.
Thank you very much for that suggestion. It's a good point. Mm-hmm. Our Caribbean strategy is something that we always are in discussion with. It's finding the right partner. We have what I call like a quasi kind of arrangement now of a fellow manufacturer and distributor who has a wide reach in the Caribbean, and they are carrying our product with them, you know. But we'll continue to look at new and innovative strategy of getting a greater presence in the Caribbean. Okay. Because I think that's important.
Okay. And the last thing is, so with the Q2 reports that came out, there was actually a trade disclosure that was made. However, when you look at the date with which the trading occurred versus when the report came out by the exchange, there was a big gap right there, right? I don't know if it's a case where the information was sent to the JC and the JC didn't disseminate the information on time, or if it's a case where, you know, so if, as I said, it's not a question or anything, but, you know, if we can make some improvements in regards to that.
Yes, it's
if it's on our end.
Okay, good,
you know,
thank you. It's something that we recognize, it's something that, unfortunately, slipped through the system a bit. We have a protocol in place, but it slipped through that protocol. So what we have done is to enhance those protocols to ensure that that doesn't happen again.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you.
Just one last question. Wesley Thomas, shareholder. On the ACI side of things, in the interim, Mr. CEO, couldn't you export from Barbados? They have ackee on the floor. They don't even eat ackee. Barbados. Simple.
Okay, so the yes. So ackee cannot be stored, right? So it cannot be stored. So if Barbados have ackee, the only way for us to use that ackee would be to set up a processing plant in Barbados and produce that ackee. So, you know, that's information that you have brought to us. If it is there in abundance, then we can look at that. I hear another shareholder which is telling me that the cost of production in Barbados will kill us. So, all right, good. Thank you.
Good afternoon, shareholders, fellow shareholders, and the board.
Can you mention your name, please, for
Anthony
the record?
Barton.
Thank you.
First, I want to start with a commendation for Spur, how well you handled the adversities of the past year. And in the financials, I have seen a whole heap of improvements in the line items. I mean, we'll spend forever or an awesome talking about them. But two things came to my observation that I just had to say something about, you know. The retained earnings has increased over $122 million. And I think that's a commendable, what you call now, result for any company to have moved retained earnings in a very difficult year. And also the earning per share has increased over $1.50 over the prior year. So this augurs well for us shareholders to be hopefully looking for a terrific dividend to come at the right time and for future years to come.
All right, so just a note that I hope that somewhere in the future the earning per share will increase by $1.50. But it moved from, I think it went to 6.29 or 6.39
Yes,
cents.
up from 4.73
yeah. Cents.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cents. It's one and a half cent.
Well,
1.5
it's
cent per
still an
share.
improvement.
It's still a significant
Yeah,
improvement, right? Thank you very much. I appreciate the commendation. And as I said, in relation to dividend, that's something that the board will look at and make a determination at the appropriate time.
Well, as I said, we minority shareholders, or shareholders in general, the only thing we can do is increase what we have so we get more dividends, you know?
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your questions. I think they were well directed, and you know, we'll take any advice, suggestions, and feedback from the meeting, and we'll obviously incorporate them in our discussions moving forward. Thank you very much.
I just want to say just one word here because I know shareholders are asking about the shares and what I would like to say to you is that when I started this company, I used to do demos like, you know, one piece of chicken, you know, demoing. I'll demo to 20 people and one will buy. And sometimes I used to get so discouraged. But then the one person will come back and says, you know what, this really tastes good. It tastes good. And that's what keeps me going. My point to you as a shareholder, as a fellow shareholder, as a founder, is that Jamaican food is trending. The tourism is boosting. Every tourist come here, they come here for the food, for the sun, for the sand, for the music, whatever. And the younger generations are coming into tourism. So the food will trend a lot. So in terms of the next 50 years or 100 years or 20 years at this company, that's where, well, but your children and grandchildren. So that's where it will trend. It will trend. Hopefully we will get the peppers, we'll increase the pepper, and I want to say it with a passion from the bottom of my heart because that's what I believe, and that will happen. Thank you.
I think though that you're going to see significant, we expect significant results, improvement, not just in it for the long term, which is the 20 and the 10, but you'll see it in the coming years, right?
Yeah,
so,
sure.
you know, I encourage you to remain confident in this company. It's a good company. The fundamentals are sound, all right?
All right, I'm going to take one last question, and I promise this is the last question or comment.
My name is Ravi Ramaran. I'm one of the shareholders. I've listened attentively to the presentation and to the comments and suggestions from the various shareholders. Firstly, I wanted to commend the board and the management for navigating very, very difficult circumstances. I think you deserve a round of applause for that. I just wanted to share my own personal experience. I am a private investor. This is one of my investments. In Jamaica, we applaud sprinters. We do not applaud people who run marathons. But from my own personal experience as an investor, successful investors are those who run a marathon, not those who run a sprint. And I wanted to share certainly my personal experience with you because this is a company that has become far more resilient, and that's important. You cannot grow without resilience. It has become far more resilient for when you first listed. And personally, I do not believe the price reflects the intrinsic value of this company. But I believe if you're prepared to treat this investment as a marathon, the rewards will be there. That has certainly been my
Very good point.
experience as an investor. Thank you.
Good point to end on. Great note to end on. And now we have some housekeeping matters to attend to. I will now present the ordinary resolutions outlined in the notice of the meeting on page 6 of the 2024 annual report to be voted on by shareholders. Shareholders and proxy holders present will vote by raising their hands, and shareholders on the electric platform will vote by the poll option online. The first resolution which requires the shareholders' approval is Resolution Number 1, Audited Accounts. That the audited accounts for the year ended December 31st, 2024, and the reports of the directors and auditors circulated with the notice convening the meeting be and are hereby received and adopted. May I have a motion for the adoption of Resolution 1? So moved. Mr. Wesley Thomas. May I have another shareholder to second that? Lauren Lecetta. Can I have now a vote for, by a show of hands, for those in favor of accepting? Those to not accept? Those abstaining? The ayes have it, and the vote has passed. Based on the count, Resolution 1 has been carried and been approved. Election of officers. Article 114 of the company's Article of Incorporation provides that every annual general meeting, 1/3 of the directors are subject to retirement. For the time being, or if their number is not 3 or a multiple of 3, then the number nearest to 1/3 shall retire from office. The directors to retire by rotation pursuant to this article are Mr. Anand James, Mr. Haranine Jagnarine, who are eligible and offer themselves for re-election. So the resolution is that Mr. Anand James be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Those in favor? Oh, sorry. Can I have a motion to so move? David Rose, seconded by? And can I now have that vote? This is the ayes, the nays, and the abstentions. The ayes have it. So it is now, I hereby stated that Mr. Anand James has been re-elected. Congratulations, sir. Resolution 2A, that 2B, I'm sorry, 2B. No, that was for one. Well, yeah, that's how they have it in the documentation. Resolution 2B, that Mr. Haranarayan Jagnarayan be re-elected to the board. Same two persons. However, in the reverse order, one is proposing and the other confirming. Can I have a show of hands for the re-election of Mr. Jagnarayan? Those against? Those against? No, everybody wants you back? So it is now, yes, sir? Yes, it was moved and second by the same two persons, but in the reverse. Mr. Mark Anthony Barton. Mr. Kareem Tomlinson was appointed a director of the company on September 19, 2024. Pursuant to Article 120 of the Articles of Incorporation, his appointment expires on the date of the next annual general meeting, and being eligible for re-election to the board, he hereby offers himself for re-election. Resolution 2C, that Mr. Kareem Tomlinson be and is hereby elected as director of the company. Can I have that seconded by? I'm going to take the lady. Yes, to make it an all ladies affair. Can I have the vote for same? Those in favor? Second. Those in favor? Those against? Those abstaining? The ayes have it. Mr. Tomlinson is now approved as a board member. The next resolution is the directors of remuneration, that the board of directors of the company be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the directors of the company. May I have a motion for the adoption of resolution 3? Lancel Bloomfield, seconded by, ma'am, can we have your name, please?
Marva Gilmore.
Marva Gilmore has seconded. Those in favor? Those against? Those abstaining? The ayes have it. I will now, the final resolution. We did that already. The final resolution, that Baker Tilly, Chartered Accountants of 6 Collins Green Avenue, Kingston 5, having signified their willingness to serve, continue in office as auditors of the company until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting at a remuneration to be agreed by the directors. Can I have a motion for that, sir? Yes, sir. Your name? Mr. Fennell, second. Mr. Damian Austin. Can I have a show of hands for those in favor? Those against? And the abstentions? There be none. Ladies and gentlemen, Baker Tilly has been reappointed as our auditors. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the business of the meeting. May I propose a motion for the termination of said meeting? Yes, sir. Mr. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Barton. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. To those that took the time to come here, for those that are online, we wish you a pleasant rest of the week and be safe. Thank you very much.